Deal, we are celebrating today, which I always knew him as William. We were friends for many, many years since high school. And there were a lot of good things about his personality that I think you got from the stage. He always had a bright smile. He was always very, very kind and accessible to his audience. I think William had a gift in that this type of music is happy, fun music, as I've said many times, and that's something that you don't always see in the music today. And his music was simple enough that you would remember the words, and yet they were fun and happy, and people had a good time, and they were very danceable.
Bill Deal was a real pro, a true artist who knew the orchestration of music and the harmonies of a vocal group. He had perfect pitch. He spent numerous hours putting the music together and adding that Rhondel touch.
May I certainly was a record that Bill produced on his own, recorded it in downtown Norfolk at Studio Center, and brought me a copy. I was working at WGH at that time. And in fact, I had the honor of being music director of the station at that time. And I really liked the record.
Beach music is such a happy music, but when Bill and the various people we played with, and Fat Ammons and others, got on stage, there was just that energy that made you feel happy and good.
We could tell that there were enough calls coming in. People really liked the record. Bill and the band put the record out at local shops, started to sell a lot of records.
It's the whole beach music. And it's funny, some of the other performers go, well, there's Carolina beach music, there's Virginia beach music. Bill just crossed over everything. I mean, you just couldn't help but love Bill and his band.
May I became a top 10 hit nationally for Bill Deal and the Rhondels. Well, I had the good fortune of seeing Bill and the band progress over many years. We used to use the band as an opening act for some of the big concerts we did at the Virginia Beach Dome. We had them open for the Beach Boys. We had them open at William and Mary Hall for Sly and the Family Stone. Prior to that, Bill was involved, just as every band that got its start, in battles of the bands playing at the Peppermint Beach Club.
45 years ago at this location, we played our first Atlantic Avenue nightclub, the Top Hat.
Beach music is something I certainly grew up with, and it's great living in a market that loves beach music, and there's so many of us, albeit old ones, we're all here and love it. And Bill performed at a lot of parties, at Deb parties, at weddings, and people would accept invitations to parties they probably didn't want to go to because Bill was playing.
We all love it when a native does well, and he did well as a very young person and was able to keep that going, and a lot of us who were not 18 anymore really appreciate the aspect of being a part of something that we remember from our teen years.
Bill and the Rhondels became so popular with locals long after their record career ended because they had taken a piece of what had been the beach history of this market and truly spread it worldwide.
I think fans, whether they've had ever heard of Bill or not, always walked away going, wow, he must have at least lost 15 pounds just that hour on stage. His
fans always knew that they were definitely a part of what made him popular, and if you don't have fans, as we all know, the popularity goes by the wayside. William was a very giving person.
He was one of the most down-to-earth, nicest guys you would ever want to meet, very humble, always appreciated his success.
He just made you want to move and smile on your face. And in all the shows that I saw him up and down the coast, everybody had smiles on their faces. And I think that epitomized, William Deal.
He always gave 100%. He loved the audience, and the audience loved him.
Plus, he was always smiling and happy and made people feel good about themselves and about the music.
That's the reason he was such a happy guy, and people loved him so much, because there was nothing phony about Bill Deal.
he had one large group of friends and family.
People loved Bill Deal because he was the genuine artifact. When you talk to Bill and you asked him if he could do a benefit, which he spent so many of his hours doing countless benefits, there's so many worthwhile charities, which really tells a great deal about the depth and the character of that man.
Maybe one of the reasons Bill was really loved is, and I'm speaking obviously for my generation, is to see one of us up there and having that incredible energy that he had and going for all those hours and never stopping on stage and always giving that incredible performance.
Bill was not someone who kind of withdrew from the local scene once he had the hit records. To me, he was the same guy in the last few years as he was in the early 60s.
One thing I always teased William about, and right up till 2 days prior to his leaving us, was I always teased him about never looking older, and that we all in his age group felt terribly mad with him that he never seemed to age, and the rest of us just didn't look like we were still in our 30s. And he maintained that sort of Dick Clark youthfulness that we'd all love to have.
You might not see him tonight, but he's here. And he would say to you, hold back the night, turn off the light. I want to dream about you, baby.
Bill, here's to you, baby. I hope they're walking the floor over you up in the big beach music place in the sky. Keep shagging.